Welcome back to the podcast room. We're here today with two guests. We have Josh and Christie. Christie's going to be one of our speakers during camp meeting. It's so lovely to have you, Christie. Christie, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, a little about who you are?
So my name is Christie Cooling, and I'm 55 years old. It's like,
got personal real quick. Got right into, all right.
Yeah, because the thing is that coming out here and actually taking part in actually preaching seems so unreal to me, because really I would rather be out there on the zip line.
Sure.
Taking a ride, and I have. It's really cool out there. But yeah, kind of went there, but I am married to my husband, John. We've been married for 35 years, just celebrated an anniversary.
Wow,
and
great.
We have 3 great kids. Samantha is our oldest, and I think actually she's been out here with you before, Alex, counseling long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
And my other daughter, Jessica, she lives out in Colorado Springs. She's married to Josh. And then my son, Jared, he is out in Oklahoma. He went to Mid-America Christian University and graduated during COVID and just decided to stay out there. Yeah. That's kind of a little bit about me, just my personal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you touched on one thing, like your daughter kind of grew up at camp out here, kind of went to summer camps and things like that. And I mean, I see you now coming back, maybe not on as the summer camp thing, but going into camp meeting, right, and getting involved into that. Just kind of furthering about yourself, where are you pastoring at, for those that don't know? Where are you pastoring at currently?
So right now I'm at the Eaton Road Church of God in Hamilton, Ohio. I've been there for 4.5 years total. Wow. Started out as the associate pastor. Really wasn't looking for a job assignment, a title, or a position, but it said that it was for family ministries and outreach, which is very much my heart. And so God kind of did a hook, line, and sinker with that. And he's like, okay, let's pull her in on this. And then when the pastor left the church, I got the phone call, and they said, would you be willing to go ahead and fill in till we get an interim pastor? And I thought, okay.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah. Well, I thought I've preached maybe 2 times to adults. Most of the time it was children's ministry or youth ministry and things like that. But then they said, actually, we want to know if you'll be the interim pastor. And I was like, wait, I need to pray about that one, to fill in here and there. But I know interim pastors sometimes end up in roles for 1.5 years, 2 years. But through that process, they asked if I wanted to be interested in being a senior pastor. And I thought, I'm always support role, educational assistant in the classroom, helping out in children's ministry, youth ministry, things like that. But as I did the interim pastoring, I started to feel that call to be the senior pastor, and I thought, this is a door that God is opening for me, and so if I don't walk through that door, I'm saying God can't use me. And so I thought, I need to step through the door, apply for the position, and if this is God's will for me, the church will want me, God will leave that door open, and that's what happened. And so here I am 4 years into it. Seems like it's gone like that, but I absolutely love what I do.
I was going to say, I mean, would you change it at this point now, like kind of looking back? I mean, not that anybody's listening right now or anything, right? But like, I mean, do you see yourself staying in a role like this? It seems like you're kind of thriving at this.
I feel like I always think of it this way, for such a time as this. I do believe that exactly what I'm doing now is what God wants me to do for now. I just never knew that I would even be here. So God's potential that exists within each one of us is so much more than what we ask, think, or imagine. And so I don't know what his plans are, but I know for right now, this is his plan for me, and I absolutely love it. I'm getting more training in being a pastor, a preacher, a leader, and just really want to grow and learn more and more every day.
Yeah, and I think that even when we found out about you becoming pastor at Eaton Road, there was a great excitement amongst the other pastors and people in the district who knew you and know the church, and was excited to hear that the church would be in good hands with you and John, and your style of ministry and so forth seemed like a great fit. So yeah, we're glad to hear on a regular basis testimonies coming from the church. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We hear great things coming from your church over just at the camp level. I mean, what we can hear from coming over there. So I think it's fantastic. I think you are the right person for it. I agree with you wholeheartedly that you have no idea what God's going to use you for.
Yes.
right? They did the same thing with me here at the camp, right? After
Mm-hmm.
Elsie kind of got sick, it was like, can you help out a little bit? And then it was like, Elsie ended up passing away, and it was like, could you
Yes.
just fill in for a minute? I was like, could you just move your stuff in here while you're filling in for a minute?
Yeah.
And then we just never left. Like,
Just put your work boots on every day for a minute.
Yeah, could you just stay? It was like 2 days to 5 days to
Yeah.
every day. And
Yeah. You all right with living out here for a minute? Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and if I can just cap on that, Elsie Tudor and the
Yes.
legacy that he has left behind here at the camp.
Giant shoes to fill.
Yes,
Yeah.
and just
Right.
the type of man that he was. Anytime when I would come out here and he and I would have a little bit of discussion as I would visit out here sometimes with my kids, because all 3 of my children attended camp out here throughout their years. But Samantha specifically went to Warner University down in Florida, and LC had a place down there that was really close to the university. And whenever
Oh.
he was down there, he would try to take her and some of the others from this area to lunch or something. So still
That's so cool.
partnering,
That's
even from a
great.
distance away, supporting them.
Yeah. That is great.
I love hearing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a big role to fill when he passed, and we're trying. We have a team of people trying to do it. It's not a one man
Sure.
kind of job out here, so it's a blast. But yeah, he laid a great foundation for us to build upon, and
Yes.
and we came on and changed a few things. Obviously, this entire camp has kind of morphed from a spot to maybe do like tent revival to what it is today, which is primarily students.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. I mean, we're talking about this week of camp meeting. We have this week of camp meeting, which is for adults, but it's followed by 3 weeks of students.
Yes.
Because we got to break it up so much because there's just that many students that want to get involved out here. And it's all about finding that balance of like, how are we filling their time with activities to care about the things they care about, so that when service and worship time comes, that it's their turn to care about what we care about, and where we can pour into them and love on them, and we can use these counselors to just feed into them spiritually all week long. So then when they do get set on fire for the gospel, they go back to churches like yours, where we know, and some churches are great at this and some churches aren't. There's a struggle there, where we know, hey, when these students leave, and even during camp meeting, when these adults leave on fire and just they've had this whole week of revival, that they're going back to a church that's going to support them.
Right.
It's going to continue that flame
Yes.
going, right?
Yes.
So.
Yes, and speaking into those camps as well, I know we're here to kind of talk about camp meeting and things like
hey.
that, but it's the entirety of it, right?
is, yeah.
It has to do not just with the camp meeting for the adults and also the children's programming that happens at that time, but camps that are for the kids. So like I said, my children, they ended up coming out here. I think Samantha started maybe around 4th or 5th grade, and then they just all came out here to camp, and I actually counseled
I love it.
twice. But I remember one young girl, and she was just really searching. And I think God just really had a call on her life, that he had a plan for her life. And we had some really good, meaningful discussions. And that blessed me so much to be able to be in that environment. And some of our students from town, when we would be out here in the tabernacle, specifically worshiping, and sometimes the boys and the girls, it's like, ooh, boyfriend, girlfriend things start going on during camp and everything.
Yeah.
And we had this boy from the church and everything, and these girls were just swooning over him. And I mean, he was trying to just worship. Sure. He was really, really intent on the worship, but these girls wouldn't leave him alone. And I kind of had to get the girls away from him because I didn't want to mess up this Jesus moment for him and this distraction. So it's
I
a
love
blessing.
that. Yeah.
It's amazing to be out here at camp. If I can ever get out here again, I want to get out here again
well,
and
hey,
just help with
listen,
that counseling.
We need
all
counselors.
of June.
Maybe not all of June.
You can come May 25th and stay through about June 25th.
Yeah, there's a big need for some counselors, especially right now. So, but yeah, no, I love that. I mean, you've kind of already shared a little bit of this, but how your daughter was involved with camps, and then your time with LC here, and some of these other like connections. Do you think camp in any way, shape, or form has kind of set you on this path to maybe where you are today as this pastoral role in this church? Do you see maybe the time you had with students, being able to just pray with them and talk with them? Because some of the stories we have lately from some of our I won't say our younger counselors, but like early 20s, and I've probably shared this before, it's when they finally have finished being a camper, and now they're coming back and they're counseling for their first year all week long, they go, this is the best week of camp of my life. Like, it's one thing to be a camper, but it is a different thing to pour in to a student. And do you think things like that, like, and maybe not just you particularly, but things like that help these counselors go on to bigger and better things, to be involved in youth ministry, to one day maybe be a pastor, to one day maybe be a missionary or things like that?
Sure.
And we never know exactly what's going to happen, not just out here at camp, but also, like you said, in their home church, being supported with that when you return from this in this phenomenal, like, summer type experience. Now what do you do with it? And I'm really trying to get some of those students from Eaton Road to come out here and experience it. I'm like, if you would just go and experience it, I think you're just going to love it, because I saw how much my kids enjoyed it. And it can be a big part of their lives and moving into different areas of ministry. I know for Samantha, she always had a call on her heart for missions, and so she lived for 2 years in Honduras.
That's
and
awesome.
she goes traveling with Children of Promise every year now. And so I think the dynamic of not only the camp, but also having that back in their home church, and maybe some of them who are just even coming as a friend to the church, to the camp, you know, that they would get tied into a church. And again, it's that the potential that exists within each one of us that God has placed there. And it's
100%.
tapping into that potential and awakening whatever it is that God has designed us for.
Yeah. I love kind of like that avenue of things, and not to shift focus here, but like Josh last year kind of came on during summer camps as, and correct me if I'm wrong in this title, was like a pastoral advisor, something of that nature.
Yes, it was something like that.
It was. I think it was a made up title on the spot, but in essence, we saw this need for, like, all right, like, we want to have a deeper conversation with a student. Okay, this counselor might have 24 students that they're hanging out with. The director might be in the middle of, like, getting the next 7 things ready for the week. Andy is slammed with getting the next week ready during this week.
Sure.
We just needed someone to say, hey, like, this student, this guy in the tabernacle is really pouring his heart into this. We want to have a deeper conversation with them. And that's how we kind of brought Josh on last year. And I thought that was phenomenal.
Actually, an incredible opportunity we didn't foresee was working with counselors. Because like you were just saying a moment ago, I was thinking about it while you were saying it. We had a lot of counselors that were having an incredible experience with the Lord as well through that week. And I had more than a few conversations with counselors feeling the call to ministry. And so just walking through with them just how to start to answer that call to ministry and next steps. And so that's an amazing thing that we see, especially when we're putting our plugs in for counselors, is this is a great experience for you. Or your daughter might even mention, a lot of times someone will go on to a mission trip thinking they're going to help the people. And ultimately, it's, you don't go for yourself, but you wind up getting more out of it than what you're going there to do, for someone else. And I think it's like that for people that are helping out here for camps as well. I think that's phenomenal.
Yes, and I think it's even beyond camp meeting and camps as well, that sometimes the churches come out here and have youth retreats and things like that, because my son, he came out here on a youth retreat, and his buddy didn't get to come with him. But it was really honestly kind of a good thing, because the counselors, they're texting me and they're calling me. They're like, Jared is just like asking all of these questions. It's like he's just like sitting in the corner reading his Bible and everything. And it really took Jared into a deeper walk.
Right.
So it's not just, like I said, those specific programs that you offer out here as well, but different churches coming out here, have a youth retreat, take the time to be in the quiet, and just ladies retreats, all those types of things. This camp offers so much more than what we really know.
I love you saying it. That way I'm not the only one trying to say it. Johnny.
Retreats, even just husband and wives just coming out to take time. I know my family just comes out here because it just gives us an opportunity to just focus on each other in a different but familiar setting. So it creates a comfortability in communication because we're familiar, but it's still different than just being around the house or the church.
I mean, and especially like Josh over at Mason, like, they'll come out for a youth retreat with Kyle and them, and then they'll come out with a men's retreat with Alan and them. And there's a lot of churches that'll do that. And then they're just, when they're back at church, they're sharing these like shared experiences.
Right.
And that's really what we're hoping for camp meeting and for summer camps this year. So like we're sharing this kind of same theme throughout the whole camp meeting and summer camps. We're all going to be like sharing on the same topics when preaching and teaching and things
beneath
like that. Beneath the surface, kind of what other people can't see, right?
Yes.
And only God can see, kind of thing. And that's kind of what we're focusing on, because if the adults come out during camp meeting, they spend a week learning about that, and then their students and then their kids and their grandkids come out the following couple weeks. It's just a full tie-in. When they come back to them, it's like, did you know what I learned? It's like, I learned that same thing.
Yes.
Maybe at a more of a milk versus meat level with some of the kids. But I mean, they're diving deep into these stories. And I think that's one thing we're super excited about.
Hopefully creating a conversation for a whole family.
Yes, definitely.
So going back to camp meeting, that's why I believe that Christie was a shoe-in for being one of our preachers this year. When we got our first meeting together where we started discussing who do we want to preach for camp meeting, we like every few years to have local pastors, maybe split it up over the nights. And we decided this year we have a few pastors that are within the under 5 or 3 years in their current position. So that's one of the kind of themes you'll see with the different pastors. But what's funny is, and I don't know if you heard this, when Christie sat down, she said, well, I kind of found out that I was definitely preaching when I got the flyer with my face on it. Because as soon as I said, oh, do you think you could do it? And she gave me just any symbol of being able to say yes. I'm like, Christie's good. We'll build off of this.
In fact, somebody actually text that. I think it might have been Samantha, my daughter. I think she might have been like, look at this, Mom. I was like, whoa, okay.
What I'm afraid.
I'm honored. Thank you.
Well, now I'm afraid I'm going to go back into my email. I'm going to find one of those unsent emails where I wrote it and didn't press send.
Yeah. A text that failed to send. It's like, I guess she never really did say yes.
Yeah.
But.
So I'm thinking back, I'm like, I know I sent something, and I trust her email more than me. So.
No, I mean, I think that's, Josh couldn't have said it better. We're so excited to have you as a part of this team of 6 for all 6 nights of camp meeting to kind of, share on the same theme, because we're going to hear, your perspective is going to be totally different than Andy, who's maybe preaching another night, his perspective. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's maybe newer in the church and maybe somebody that's been in it for a hot minute. You know what I'm saying? So we're very excited. Is there anything you're looking forward to for camp meeting? Is there anything you're kind of hyped up about? I mean, as far as I can tell, this is your first time speaking at camp meeting. Am I correct?
Yes, I've chaired the services probably the past 2 or 3 years, something like that. Come out on one night and just chaired the service. But no, it is exciting because you see the whole dynamic. I mean, you see the younger children and kids coming. Some of them go on over, but then some of the littles, they just stay right back here in the playground behind the tabernacle and stuff like that. Whatever the family is comfortable with. I met a lady last year and spoke with her for quite a while. We kind of connected, talking about American Heritage Girls and things like that. There's something going on as well. But reconnecting with people when I used to go to Town Boulevard Church of God, which is now called Town Church, reconnecting with those faces and those people and just saying hi again. Also from Millville Avenue Church of God, I attended there in the very beginning. And so reconnecting with those old faces is kind of, when you come to camp meeting, it's almost like a homecoming.
Or the reunion.
Yes, exactly. And so I think really just doing that, and I think these podcasts are awesome because you're really getting the word out to people to understand a little bit more of what it is, because I think a lot of people think, oh, that's just old time camp meeting, I don't want to have anything to do with that. But it's got so much more than that. And it's going back to that potential. And I think sometimes we just try to lay things aside. one of the things I like to focus on is honoring the faithfulness of the past. That means we honor the faithfulness of the past. We don't still live in the past, but we honor that faithfulness. You know, we don't let that go. We need those traditions.
That's
We
brought
need
us to
those,
where we are. Yeah.
yes, those values, but we live faithfully in the present, and then we take those steps of faith into the future.
Yeah.
And it's all about that. We don't want to get rid of camp meeting just saying, oh, that's what they used to do back in the day. It's like, let's revive it. Let's bring it back and do it, you know, in today's culture.
Yes.
I love the way you kind of articulated that. Better than I could have ever figured out how to say those words, right?
Yeah.
To just you're honoring the past, right? I mean, I think me and Josh share the kind of same feelings about camp meeting, that this could be and is working toward, this is a full family event.
Yes.
It is.
Right? I mean, kids camp is like, that's what we're here for, right? Student camps, kindergarten to college age.
Sure.
That's what we're built to do. But this week of camp meeting is something that when we get to look at old photos and we see ages up and down, right?
Yeah.
That like, why can't this be a week of family camp? Why can't this be 1 week where you're not dropping off one of your kids this week and one of your kids this week and one of your kids this week, because they're all different ages and different grades. It's 1 week where it's like, let's all go out there together as a family, right? Let's hang out. Let's hit up the concession ahead of time.
Yes.
Grab some Taco Tuesday.
Yes, sir. I'm already hungry thinking about it.
Grabbing some food, and then just, hey, some of the kids that want to go over there can go over there. If you want to come in service, you can kind of come in service. And I think as we revitalize, and I don't know if that's the right word, camp meeting, and kind of just, and like you said, just kind of spread the word about it's so much more than just old time service. And I know that's not the right way to say it.
It's a great opportunity for us to really worship together as a bigger family.
Yeah.
And that, you know, also brings, you know, that reunion, unity feeling that you have of seeing, like, we often will see cousins, you know, or our second, third cousins that are family members, because that's how the Church of God works, right? Alex loves that. We're all related to him, but but then you're coming together in that reunion feeling, but then to worship together. And then I like that we're going to really have this, you know, difference in under one theme, but different styles of preaching every night this year. I think that's going to be, and then our kids club is really turned into a more of a pre-week for the kids camps. And so that's really exciting. So we're going to families now have somebody, you know, we've done kids club a couple years, but it's had to grow since, you know, COVID and some other reasons. And now it's starting to really grow into like a, I don't know, what do you call it? Like a pre-week? There's a word I need for that, isn't there?
It's almost like a trial week for parents that might not be super comfortable. Like, I don't want to drop my kid off overnight. I don't really know. I've never been to the camp. I don't know the camp very well. But like, we'll come out every night for service, running like a VBS style almost. And it's like, now I can see the grounds while I'm here. Maybe I can pop in a cabin that they're going to be staying in, kind of get a lay of the land, kind of meet the people. I mean, and I think that's the whole purpose of something like this. Is we can throw your name on a flyer without your knowledge, apparently. But we can throw your name and face on a flyer and say, hey, this is who's preaching. But to sit down and let me and Josh talk to you to say, but this is who's preaching, right? Like, this is who Christie is, and this is where she's from, and this is her excitement for this, and this is what she's going to bring to this group of people that are going to be doing camp meeting.
Amen.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, and I think, you know, when you're talking about that family style event, like I said, that's kind of was the hook, line, and sinker for me. You know, getting me to Eaton Road was family ministries and outreach. And so when you kick off the camp meeting here too, having that family fun day.
I love you saying that side of everything. I mean, just because me personally, like, I got 3 kids and they're 11, 5, and 1. Like, they're in all 3 different stages of everything. Right? When we go to church, I'm like, this one goes here, this one goes there, this one goes there, and then I got to go reverse order to go pick them all up. And we don't do a whole lot of things like as a family that can kind of like appeal to all of us. And I think camp meeting is kind of morphing into that. Right? It's something that there's something for everybody. All week long. So.
Yeah, I fully see that in the years to come, that it grows even to like in high school camp, they'll have like the Bible tracks as well. And I wonder if we could do little breakout sessions, things like that in the future.
I would love.
That'd be awesome.
Because I know that there are kids that have been through high school camp that are now in their 20s
Yeah.
that miss that, and they want to come just for like the tracks, the Bible tracks,
Yeah. Oh, wow.
to high school camp, or they get involved in counseling just so they can do that, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's something we look at, and incorporating into the camp meeting week in the future.
I feel like there's so much we could do. There's so much growth and potential there.
Yeah.
To get it, and I'm not gonna say get it back to like where it used to be. Like I said, we always see these photos and like
Sure.
the tabernacle's packed full, and there's just like people overflowing into the grass
Yeah.
on both sides. Like those are amazing photos to look at, and it's like, yeah, we want to get back to something great like that, but maybe in a different sense. And I love this idea of just this whole, it's just a whole family event. And like you said, with Family Fun Day, that's the whole reason we started it. It
Yeah.
was 3 or 4 of us families that just wanted to hang out, and then we invited a little more, and then we invited the community, and then we invited more of the community.
Yeah, right.
And I think last year it was like,
No, it's like
400 or 500
a
people.
Lebanon event.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's fantastic, and we just get to meet so many people, and we just get to pray with so many people.
Yeah.
We've signed up kids for summer camps during Family Fun Day.
Sure.
When they're like, "Well, I just don't know where to," I'm like, "It's here. It's 1, it's local. 2, it's affordable. Like we try to keep
It
it
is.
as affordable as possible."
Yeah.
So no, we're super excited. So we're super excited about camp meeting. We're super
Yeah.
excited about summer camps. We're
Right.
super excited to have you with us.
Yeah.
And so we're looking forward to it. We're going to be meeting some of the other pastors as we get further into this. But I thank you so much, Josh, for coming out. I thank you, Christy, for coming out. And if you have a story to tell, or if you have a testimony you would absolutely love to share, come out and see us. Until next time.